Dude, I'm really coming to the point in my account where I would love to get my hands on, or at least begin to think about maxing out a solo carry champion. I'm talking about a champ that can maybe do something like, I don't know, solo bommal in Doom Tower, solo the crap out of Scarab King, that would be nice, but also solo some dungeons as well. I'm quite a ways away, but it's a thing I want to plan around doing in the future. I'm actually sitting on a decent couple of solo carry champs, one of them obviously being Shield Guard, can do a little bit of job for you at least in the early game. And where is she, man? There she is. Good old Lady Annabelle, level 40 and ready to go, boys. Not really, right? We've got a lot of work to do on Annabelle. And those are just two of the solo carry champs that we're going to be covering in this video, man, because I've done a little bit of homework, and it turns out there's actually a pretty damn good few number of champs that you can use to solo content. Why do you want champs like this on your account, by the way? Why is it so important to have these solo carry champs that can solo things like Bommal, Scarab King, etc., and even solo dungeons like Spider, Dragon 25, that kind of thing, right? Real solo carry juggernauts. But the best part is that you can then fill up all of the other 4 champion slots in dungeons like Dragon, Spider, stuff like that, with food champions, right? So that you're leveling and farming super high quality gear at the same time. We're going to be covering 7 champions in this video. I know that there are many more solo carry champions as well, so make sure to list some of those down below in the comments, you know, help some folks out. And you know what? If you're a newer player to raid, like me, and you happen to pull from shards any of these solo carry champs, you know at least to hold on to them so that you might want to max them up in future. Me, I'm pretty damn new at the game, so I'm almost certainly going to be missing a whole bunch. It's going to be said that most of these solo carry champs tend to have HP burn or poison effects on their A1, right? So it's very spammable. Even if they're being spam taunted by a boss, they can still spam out a very potent A1. Lady Annabelle is actually one of the exceptions where she has a much more niche sort of edge case use. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Also, generally speaking, almost all of these super hardcore solo carry champs are going to be put in 4 pieces of regeneration gear and 2 pieces of immortal gear. There are going to be exceptions to that rule, of course, and I'll try and mention that as and when those exceptions are in effect. And lastly, kind of goes without saying, but any champ that you're going to be using to try and solo Ice Golem, turns out that resistance is a huge deal. You're already getting spammed with debuffs, particularly the big old freeze debuff. Just bear that in mind. You might need 300, even 400 plus resistance going up against the higher levels of Ice Golem, at least I think. So first off, we've got to touch on Shield Guard. Super early game. He can't carry you in many places, but where he can solo carry in lifesteal gear, right? He's one of those exceptions that's not going to be in regeneration necessarily. Slap him in some lifesteal gear and he can carry the hell out of your team in Minotaur. Once you've maxed out your Shield Guard, got him in some good lifesteal gear, he can just solo carry the crap out of it. Key reason for that is actually his passive, right? The Minotaur likes to place the, crap, I forget the name of the debuff the Minotaur places. But I guess it doesn't matter, right? Point is, Shield Guard removes it for free at the start of every single turn, right? Drastically reducing the damage that he takes from the Minotaur boss. You build him in 100% crit or as close to as possible so that his A2 is able to effectively clear the waves, right? So that he's also filling his turn meter by 20% on each crit. That's also a big bonus for his attack all A2, and the A1 is fine with a chance of reducing speed as well, man. And again, the pros of Shield Guard is that he's just so accessible, so easy to max out early on and get that use case from him. And then ideally, you're able to clear Minotaur and farm masteries on champs before they hit level 60, so you're actually leveling them and gaining them experience as well as their mastery scrolls as you go. That's like best possible case scenario, right? And the next one that I've got my hands on is, of course, good old Lady Annabelle. Super survivable because of her A1, which is a double hitter. Each hit healing this champion by 3% of their max HP. Just very nice stuff. She's not particularly quick at killing bosses off, of course, but that doesn't really matter so much because her passive is just so damn good. A 1-for-1 counter against good old Dreadhorn Bommal. At least I think that's his full name. I'm just gonna call him Bommal for now. So you run into this boss, he spawns bombs, they explode for, I think it's 40% of your champion's max HPs. The only thing is that these bombs that Bommal spawns count as enemy units, so that when these enemy units die, Lady Annabelle, well, she instantly heals back 50% of her max HP as soon as the bombs go off. It basically completely counteracts the mechanics of Bommal. There is a rare champ, I think it's Master Butcher, who has a similar kind of solo carry potential effect against Bommal. But hey, I've got my hands on Lady Annabelle. I might as well use her instead. you should too. And hey man, before we move on to the next bunch of champs, make sure if you haven't already to go ahead and enter the promo code GAMELEAP. It's our own happy little promo code. Inputting this son of a gun will get you 1 free energy refill, 100k silver, and 10 free experience brews. And you know what? If you're looking to jumpstart a new Raid Shadow Legends account anytime soon, make sure to do so using the promo code down below at the top of the video description. Click on that promo link and you will be jumpstarting your fresh new Raid Shadow Legends account with a free epic champion and a whole bunch of starting freebies, man. The best possible way to start your new raid journey, man. Okay, let's move it on to good old Urost, the Soul Cage. Urost is an absolute giga chad, in particular at bringing down Scarab King. Why is that? Scarab King, super weak against poisons, right? Well, on Urost's passive, okay, so he doesn't even have to hit the son of a gun. His passive is when attacked has a 50% chance of placing a strong poison debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. Dude, that's all you need to read. The rest is like extra goodness, but this ability to apply poisons so reliably while being slapped around, really second to none. Now, Scarab King also, of course, applies a taunt, or a provoke, rather, meaning that you're also going to be spamming the crap out of your A1. So, the Urost A1, what does it do? Well, it actually doesn't apply poison on the enemy target. What it does do is attack one enemy, place a shield buff on this champion equal to 10% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. Why is that so important? Because you need a shield buff active when swinging into Scarab King, or he counterattacks. So yeah, Urost, obviously he has a lot of other edge case uses as well. It's soloing content, but when it comes to Scarab King, this guy is a Scarab King big on. He's the goddamn bug exterminator, you know what I'm saying? Okay, man. It's starting to occur to me that even though I mentioned at the start of the video, most of these champions are gonna have poisons and HP bends on their A1, turns out that just like none of them have so far. And that trend is actually not changing with Crypt King Graal, who is an absolute giga chad when it comes to soloing the crap out of the highest stages of Spider, I think up to like stage 20. He's also an absolute nutcase when it comes to carrying in Ice Golem. So what's he all about, man? The A1 is actually pretty tight, honestly, against bosses, even though again it's not an HP burn or a poison. Has a 60% chance of placing a strong decrease attack buff for 2 turns. Actually, shockingly good for helping keep this guy alive once he's actually against bosses, right? When he's actually hitting into bosses. His A2 and his A3, absolutely nuts, man. Check this out, dude. Attack all enemies with fully bugged 100% chance of placing HP burn for 2 turns on just everything. And the A3 is also an attack all with a place a freeze debuff for 1 turn. And a 310 attack all HP burn on targets who are already under HP burn debuffs. And the HP burn debuff cannot be resisted. Man, this guy's ability to not just wade his way through and kill off all of the waves in these dungeons, but then to also burn down the boss while keeping him safe by decreasing the boss's attack against things like Ice Golem and like I said, Spider. It's just kind of mental, right? Slam this guy in all of the most survivable gear you got. This is definitely going to be one of those regeneration immortal set nerds whose only job is to not die. Now, I don't know, I've seen some people say that he can also take on Dragon. I've not actually seen that done. Maybe I just haven't looked hard enough on YouTube. Against the high stages of Dragon, the huge Dragon's Breath at the end of the fight can become rather devastating, and Crypt King might just struggle to kill it in time. But hey, I might be wrong about that. Certainly against Spider and definitely against Ice Golem, Crypt King is an absolute chad. Next up, we're venturing into the Orcs boys to cover Artak, who honestly is quite similar to the Crypt King in his function and in what he can solo, namely Spider, that kind of thing. Why is he so good? Well, the A1, chance to increase the duration of HP burn debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. It is an attack all. His A2 and his A3 are also attack alls. The A2 is a HP burn activator, that is, and a 100% chance fully booked of placing a strong decrease attack debuff on all enemies for a couple of turns. So again, you can deal with the wave content nicely, very nicely indeed, when you take into account the A3, which is also a double hitter attack all. Now, I have seen Artak struggle a bit more than Crypt King from what I've seen in terms of survivability. I've seen people run him with the Blood Shield Ring for the small shield after you attack, and then coupling that with the Emergency Heal Blessing. Once you've got him awakened up enough, you are going to have to awaken him a few times to really get a lot of value out of that Emergency Blessing, extra sustain. But once that's done, this guy becomes an absolute solo carry god engine. The guy can clap Ice Golem, the guy can clap Spider. I've even seen some folks slam him in a poison set and use him to clear up to stage 20 Dragon completely solo. Interesting stuff, man. Attack, hell of a lot of uses. What an absolute Giga Chad he is. Next up, we got the good old Venomage. With Venomage, it's really all about, well, it's about a few of his skills, actually. But we'll start off, man, with the A2, which is the important one, right? It's an attack all, 100% chance fully bucked, replacing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 3 turns. Not bad. Also has a 100% chance of placing 2 strong poison debuffs for a couple of turns as well, which is pretty sweet. Now, his passive also factors into his survivability when soloing content, which is enemies under heal reduction debuffs inflict just flat 15% less damage, which is pretty tight. And once those 2 poison debuffs have been applied from the A2 as well, his A1 becomes absolutely insane. It's an attack 1 enemy 2 times, destroys attack at max HP, which is pretty sweet if they're under heal reduction, that is. And each hit has a chance of activating up to 2 poison debuffs on the target, dude. Each hit has a chance of activating up to 2 poison debuffs on the target. Dude, I just had to read that again. That's actually so good. That's so strong, man. This thing is going to be proccing for days. The damage is going to be absolutely nuts, and that is why Venomage is an absolute chad at bringing down Dragon completely solo. I believe he can actually solo up to Dragon 20. Maybe he can go a little bit higher. I don't know. The highest I've seen folks do is normal 20. Stage 19, I think he's positive affinity against stage 19, so that's a lot easier, right? If you're blasting up your Venomage and you're only able to solo clear Dragon stage 19, that's still pretty damn good. It's a starting point, and you can min-max him from there. I guess if you're going to use Venomage to try and solo Scarab, because he doesn't have a poisoner on his A1, it's on his A2, you probably need to build him with a good amount of resist, right? So he's not getting, like, spam provoked. You know what I'm saying? I'd imagine that that's the case. What do you guys think? Is Venomage a solid solo carry nerd against the likes of Scarab? Or should you just kind of keep him specialized for dungeons, man? Where you don't have to worry quite as much about the resist. Then again, if you're going to use him to solo Ice Golem, which I think you can, you're also going to need the resist there too. So maybe just stacking it with, like, a crap load of resist. 350, 400 odd. Wouldn't be a bad idea anyway. And finally, we've got ourselves Bad El Khazar, dude. Good old Undead Horde's legendary. This guy is a sustain monster with a crazy poison spam to boot. His A1 is an attack all enemies, heals this champion and all allies by 20% of the damage inflicted, so right away the waves are not a problem for this guy when solo carrying. The A2 though is where it's really at. Remove all debuffs from all allies, place 2 strong continuous heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns, and place 2 poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns. My god, dude, is this guy just built to just mulch the hell out of Dragon? Now, I think that the caveat to solo carrying with this guy is that you need about, or like at a minimum, 220 speed. Otherwise, you will not get off your A2 quite enough and stack up enough poisons to be killing the dragon off in good time and just stopping the dragon from getting off its breath attack. And naturally, you're also going to need him with a reasonable amount of resistance if you're going to be using him into Ice Golem. I've also seen folks either run this guy in Regeneration set, which can work, of course. You can also slam him in something like Immortal and Reflex, because he's only got one ability that he wants to be spamming as much as humanly possible, and that is of course the A2. So the Reflex set gives you that 40% chance of instantly dialing the cooldown of Malice down from a 3 turn to potentially a 2 or even 1 turn cooldown if you got really lucky with Reflex procs. And then the poisons just go absolutely out of hand, and bringing down Dragon really becomes no problem at that point, right? So hell man, if I got this guy, I think it would probably be Immortal plus Reflex set and just let him go to town, man. Dude, he looks so badass as well. You kidding me with that weapon, man? And man, that's what we're going to be covering in this video, man. Did any of these picks help you out? Have you got your hands on any of these champions? Are you using any of these champions to solo carry your way through content on your account? Let me know down below, and also let me know which champions I missed. I know for sure that I missed a few, but I need to do a bit more homework on them just to kind of stitch together in my head how they actually work so that I can present them in maybe a follow-up video to this one. So yeah, maybe you'll also be looking forward to that. But now, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you all did enjoy this one. If you're looking to jumpstart a new Raid Shadow Legends account, make sure to do so by clicking the promo link down below at the top of the video description to kickstart your new account with a free epic champion and some free starting resources to boot. Do please enjoy the rest of your day. For now, thanks for watching. I'm going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later, man.